We are live. Good evening, everyone. Or should I say good afternoon, good morning, good night, depending on where you're tuning in from. My name is Nipun. I am joined today by Matt from Chelsea Perspective. Go subscribe to them if you haven't already. And we are here for another episode of the SW6 Cast. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. It's been a while since I've been on. Obviously, it's busy schedules between us. It's been a struggle to get a stream down, but it's good to be on and good to talk about Chelsea, especially in a controversial time at the moment.
I watched that video you made on the Chelsea Perspective about the protest. Well, and I agreed with quite a lot of things you said there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I haven't not actually reacted to the protest publicly on a channel yet, so yours is the first. But I think a lot of what I said, I safely can say happened. I do actually think if I'm going to give positives to it, more people turned up than I thought. If I believe that there's 200 people that actually turned up for it, it's hard to see who's in the protest and who's just there watching, whatever.
Check the private chat, by the way, Matt.
If 200 people, if 200 people did turn up, then fair enough. But I don't think that. I don't think. I think there was a lot of mistakes. There was no clear message. The fact that I think Bowley was more pointed as the main villain when Bowley hasn't really been involved in Chelsea in a front row seat area for 1.5 years. The fact that at times they started chanting about Tottenham and how much we hate Tottenham and singing Arsenal chants, and then singing for Roman Abramovich to come back and a little bit of xenophobia, but actually there was less than I thought there might have been. But there just seemed to be no clear message. There seemed to be no real action, and really I think there's nothing's come from the protest. A few people have shouted about and made their point known, but there's no solutions. People are not really. There's no solutions that people are coming to it. There's too much of a There's too much of a disorganization about it. There needs to be more organized. I think Carlito, owner of the Blue Coat Project podcast that I'm on, formerly Worldwide Chelsea podcast, but there you go. He said himself, like he from experience protesting himself, you need like a concise 3-point plan, and you need to figure out a solution, because it's all right shouting your problems about, but if you have no solution to them problems, but behind very vague, just buy a bunch of proven players, there's no, you're not gonna be, the protest is just meaningless. And I just don't know how I just don't know how it's going to go from here. Is this going to be a consistent thing, or if and when we eventually get Champions League this season, are they just going to keep quiet because we're in a position where I think everyone expected to be in Champions League and that's it for this season? I don't think anyone's expectations were to win the league or challenge for the league this year. So I don't know. Yeah. That's it really. If you Nipping, obviously I saw you was away.
I missed out on quite a lot because
I
don't have a laptop. I only have my phone.
That's all right. Just to summarise for you, I basically just said that the protest was just very disorganised, singing Arsenal songs, singing Roman Abramovich songs. There's no real actual aim of solutions in terms of the protest, and it's fine shouting about problems, but you need to actually have a solution.
Oh,
I mean, what was your thoughts on the protest?
nothing less than what I expected. I said this on Twitter. I retweet a lot of things from this account. It was nothing more. Big up, Melina. Big up. Well,
But Molino actually will know that Arsenal did protests and whatever, and did it really change that much? Yeah, they were a little bit better.
well, it was a Wenger out protest, and what happened a few days later?
Yeah, but I think there's a difference between protesting about a manager and protesting an ownership to go.
Okay. Okay. Do you think,
as I mentioned on Twitter last week, name a big club where they've managed to get their owners out?
no club, none.
No club. There's nothing. Never happened. There's no. People say someone was arguing with me Man United because Jim Ratcliffe is running the football things. I'm like, well, no, he's got
the Glazers are still. The Glazers are still the custodians.
The Glazers still have overall control. They might use Jim Ratcliffe as the guy to. He's basically just bought himself a big shield for the Glazers. They've just basically sold 20% or whatever it is that Jim Ratcliffe's got. They've got a whole bunch of cash. And by the way, the 25% that was sold was from parts of the Glazer family that weren't that interested in Man United anymore and sold up because they couldn't be asked. Joel and Avram Glazer didn't really sell hardly any of their shares. They've still got all the shares they wanted. So it's just some of the Glazer family have just checked out because they were never interested. And they just seen themselves as getting a nice paycheck. But that's what's happened. There's nothing's materially changed at Man United. Nothing has changed at Arsenal. Bar, I think they've been a bit smarter with transfer business, but they've still got overall problems. I think it helps that other teams have got worse over the period of time that they've been successful. But ultimately, they've not won anything. So there's not really been a material difference. No club has ever got their owners out. And quite frankly, the only way a protest will become purposeful is if they have an ownership that is ready to step in and actually buy the club. That's the only way. If you can get, say, I don't know, let's dream here, a Saudi consortium that all these Chelsea fans want. If you can get a Saudi consortium to back your protest up, and while you protest and be frustration, they can go in and buy the club behind the scenes, then yeah, you've got a solution. But until you have that, you're not. These owners don't have to sell. They'll sell when they want to, not when you want to.
Yeah, they'll sell on their own terms.
And I think they will sell eventually, but just because they sell doesn't mean the grass is going to be green on the other side. Doesn't mean the person that they'll sell to will be better. I mean, I went quite angry. I'm going to read my tweet out that I said. It was in response to I can't remember what I'm trying to find the tweet now, but it was a more kind of EFL type account that was saying, yeah, it's the second tier podcast. So it's that podcast for the Championship. And he said, this is in response to Charlie Patrick's "The Message Is Clear" and the video of the protest with, I think it's the banner where it's "Stop killing Chelsea, get out of club." And his tweet was, "They're not killing your club. Reading have been on the brink for the last 3 years. Coventry have had to play home games in other towns and cities for multiple seasons. Derby nearly went out of business 3 years ago. Birmingham spent several years not knowing who the hell actually owned them. West Brom had to take out loans just to keep the lights on at the club. Sheffield Wednesday have an owner that constantly undermines success. with bizarre comments and not paying the bills on time. Blackburn have had 2 managers leave in a year because of lack of ambition. Cardiff are in £100 million worth of debt, which for a club like Cardiff is a lot more than the supposed debt that Chelsea are in. And he then went, fans of the big six clubs are just so out of touch. And my reply to that was, to all Chelsea fans who cry about these owners being the worst and this club being dead, boy, you do not know what the meaning of dead is. Witnessing what happened to the community when Southend United, which is, by the way, if anyone knows, that's where I'm very closely based. The turmoil that they were going through during their ownership troubles showed me the true meaning of a dying club. Some of these clubs, like Southend, would trade their livelihoods to have 2% of the money that Chelsea have spent on the club. These owners, they'd give away everything to have that spent on Southend. So we, as big six fans, are just so entitled to think that if we don't win a trophy in a couple of years, we're dead as a club. You don't know what the meaning of a dead club is. This can get so much worse, and these owners, they have spent a ridiculous amount of money. Yes, it's probably not been spent right. Yes, there's been mistakes. There's a lot of conspiracy theories saying that they had to spend this and they won't spend any more, which is all right. They're probably not going to spend as crazy as they did at the start, but they've spent a lot of money on this club. They're not the worst owners in the history of the Glazers are probably the worst owners in this league. I don't even think Chelsea owners are the worst.
Even would you say they're worse than the Cronkies?
No, I think if you look at the way the Arsenal ran in the first 5 years of the Cronkies, it was in worse turmoil than this. I think I think there is ambition there, and of course they are business minded. We've got to remember that Chelsea and this is the thing with Chelsea fans at the moment. For 20 years we lived in a bubble. Apart from Man City, PSG, and maybe Real Madrid. Everyone else,
maybe Real Madrid.
Well, I think they're not so much of a Gulf state type ownership. So I think
but they're still football royalty.
They still understand that football's a business, whereas I think PSG, Man City, Chelsea, their clubs weren't run like a business. They had sugar daddy owners or Gulf states that could fund whatever money they needed to put into the club and funnel into the club. And Roman, in terms of FFP, we were on the brink of struggling with Roman. I think we would have been in a lot of trouble if Roman kept us on. But my point is, we're now because we're now out of that bubble. Everyone thinks that these owners are massively business focused. No, they just know that unfortunately sport has become a business. While you have financial regulations woven into your sport,
look, you will never find that owner who loves the club, who is willing. Everyone wants that owner who's a fan of the club, who would do anything for the club. No, that type of owner's gone. You're never going to have that anymore. Unless it's a very low division team. You know what I mean?
Name a Premier League club that has that type of ownership.
I couldn't tell you one.
I'm just thinking right now. I'm going through it. Who are Villa owned by?
No idea.
Because Villa's the only one I look at, and I don't actually have a clue. I know they've changed ownerships before, so I'm assuming it's not run Boyhood, but yeah.
West Ham. West Ham. David, I think David Gold.
I did, yeah.
I think David Gold's a West Ham supporter. I think David, lifelong West Ham supporter.
But Nippon, that's probably an example of where actually it proves that the one ownership that might be a boyhood club, and they run their club like crap. They always have. They're literally more business. They're more business focused than what most people in this league. They sold up Upton Park's property developers to get a stadium that they just pay a bit of rent to. Like that was business. That was business result of the bloody year. And they're making more money there than they would have Upton Park. They're greasing in the money. And that was nothing to do with football. And it's a god awful stadium. And I'm glad we don't have a stadium like that. But honestly, yeah.
They think it's futuristic though.
That is actually funny that the one boyhood club type owners are the ones that are probably one of the worst. But in all seriousness, I look at ownerships in the Premier League. If I can point out ownerships that are bad, worse than Chelsea, Man United, Arsenal, West Ham. I'm trying to go through
Tottenham.
Tottenham. I believe he's worse than these. Yeah, it's four.
Another boyhood Tottenham fan. He supports Tottenham as well. Daniel Levy.
Don't forget Ratcliffe was Ratcliffe. We don't know. Ratcliffe supported about 1 billion clubs.
He's an idiot. I don't claim. People say he's a Chelsea fan. I don't claim him.
Well, people wanted Ratcliffe in. I mean, I should be quiet about that. I did jump on the Ratcliffe bandwagon a little bit, but that's just because I'm a Mercedes fanboy and I bought into that. But yeah, I'll keep quiet on Ratcliffe opinions actually, because that'll put me in the mud a little bit. Skeletons in my closet. But yeah, seeing how Ratcliffe is done at Man United, I'm so glad we don't have him.
Who do you think Iqbal is a problem at Chelsea? Because a lot of people are pointing fingers at him.
I disagree fundamentally with some of the stuff that he wants to do. But it depends on if he's willing to compensate, which unfortunately billionaires are stubborn. And this is the thing with going back to the protest. It's hard to change a billionaire's mind because a billionaire always thinks they're right. And the thing is, to become a billionaire like that, you have to be doing a lot of things right. So naturally, they always think they're right. Every billionaire goes into the room thinking they're always right. So it's hard to change their mind. And they're stubborn. And that means protesting is going to be a bit futile because they're going to look at you and go, oh, who are you? Who are you to speak about this? You're not putting your money's worth into it. I've run businesses. I can do this, whatever. But yeah, I mean, I prefer Bowley as an owner. I find him. I find I have more of a connection with Todd Bowley.
What's going on?
Is that a fire alarm?
I think so. Out.
Loud. Whoop whoop. It's the sound of the police. Whoop whoop.
Right, I'm going to drive off before anything gets bad to worse.
Well, just do it in your car. Don't drive because you have bad signal.
There's a shopping centre just down the road from here. I'll
Yeah,
go
but
there.
it's 10:30, Nippon.
It might even be a false alarm, but I'm not taking any chances.
Nippon, just stay in the car.
Yeah, I will.
But yeah, I don't even know what I was saying now. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I prefer Bowley. I have more of a connection with Bowley personally than Barley. I still think Bowley made a lot of mistakes, and I think Bowley was very naive. But I think then, I mean, no, I'm not stupid. I think there's things that need to change with the ownership, and I hope they do.
You hope, but do you think they will? There's a difference.
I think eventually there'll be some slight compromises. Whether it's enough for people is another question.
I want to be as far away from this place as possible. So I'm just going to park somewhere else.
Yeah. I'm interested to see how the next window or two goes. To see what different, how it is, because I do feel like there's going to be less of this buying every 16-year-old on the planet. I think it'll be a bit more low key.
Do you think Winstanley and Stewart will finally get their heads out of their? Do you think they'll finally get their heads out of the sand, Winstanley and Stewart?
I don't know. And for me, they're the people that I most look at the people that I'd be more angry with, because you can potentially change the owner's mind in terms of sporting directors, changing a sporting director. For me, I think I said at the beginning of the season, I've been very patient with the whole process. But this year is the year that I want results. And my result is Champions League football. It's not winning the Premier League or whatever. It's just getting back into the Champions League. If we don't get back into the Champions League, then that's where you see me becoming impatient and more critical. Because I'm very patient. I'll give someone time. But if you waste my time that I give you, then you're gonna get slagged off, and that's why it's the same approach I have with managers. I will give them the time. If they choose to hang themselves with that time, then it is what it is. Melina, to answer your question, no, I'm not out.
And neither am I, Melina.
I think
I said at the beginning of the season. I said at the beginning. Go on.
I wasn't the biggest fan of Maresca when he come in. So I was a little bit. I didn't want Poch to go personally. So I was very kind of like, well, let's see how he goes. Of course, I'm going to give him time, but I didn't have as much expectations for him. I think he done very well, and I think actually the last two games, effectively, the Villa game, I think. While we lost, and it was a horrible result, I feel like that was down to just players' mistakes. And I think changes he made into that match and the changes that followed into the Southampton match, i.e. putting Neto up front, I think really helped us a little bit and helped with these big problems we've got. I mean, let's be honest. The problems Maresca's got, whether that's Fofana being out and Fofana being the only capable defender in his team going out, combined with Lavia going out injured as well and causing a lack of depth in the midfield, furthered by the fact that Mudryk has decided to pop pills and we're suddenly low on wingers who can. And when I say wingers, we've got players who can play out wide. But the only explosive winger we've now got is Neto, and he's playing up front now because Madueke's obviously got injured. On top of that, two of his two strikers get injured in the same game. Like statistically, I think someone come out and said that a supercomputer predicted that there's like a 0.34% chance of that ever happening.
Of whatever happening? Sorry, what were you saying?
I was saying about obviously Jackson and Gooey getting injured. Someone put it into a supercomputer, and it said that percentage chance of that ever happening is 0.34%. And the fact that
that's just modded the supercomputer, hasn't it?
No, but that's what I mean. That just shows how freak of a nature this thing is, and not to mention that it happened on bloody deadline day to make it even worse. All these people going, oh, we've messed up because we don't have 3 strikers. No one has 3 strikers anymore. No one. You have two strikers. Unless you're playing two up front, you're not going to have three quality strikers in the team because someone's going to be unhappy and not play a lot of game time.
Well, Man City did, and they sold him to Atletico.
But no, they didn't have three strikers. They had Alvarez and Haaland. Who else?
And now they just have one. They just have Haaland now.
Exactly. That they don't. We most you look at most teams, they don't have more than two strikers. They'll have someone that can play up front, but he's probably playing out wide as a natural position or whatever. But you don't have many teams that have three good strikers. They might have two good strikers and like a youth team player that has played in the team before, like I don't know, someone I don't know. I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but there's just some things that have happened all at the same time that has really screwed us over. And I think at the moment we've just got to focus on getting results. So Leicester, I think we need to get a win. I think Copenhagen games will get through over two legs. I think we might struggle in one of the games potentially, but I think we'll get it over the line over two legs. And then the Arsenal game, I think we just need to get a result at all costs.
For the Arsenal game, we need to organise a preview.
But I mean, for the Arsenal game, I think if we get a draw, I'm more than okay with that. At this current state, with how the team is, stealing a point from the Emirates or Stamford Bridge, wherever it's being played, I'm more than happy with that. And then we can go into the international break. I think Arsenal's before the international break, if I'm right. And we can come back from the international break, and hopefully we have Lavia back. I mean, I'm hoping that Lavia might be back before the international break, at least in the squad. And then hopefully Jackson and Gui are back. I don't know when Madueke's back, but I'm not really bothered about Madueke apart from the aspect of cover. But we just need to get results. I think for me, I think we need to try and keep it largely how it is. I think I would put my team for Leicester with Jorgensen in goal, Cucurella. Now Fofana could be back. I'd have Tosin and Fofana. I'm dropping Colwell, I'm sorry. Right back, we need to have Reece James. Midfield, Enzo, Caicedo, and Nkunku in attacking midfield. On the left, you can have Sancho. On the right, you can have Palmer, or you can have Nkunku, Palmer in the middle, Nkunku on the left or right, and then you have Neto up front. That's what you need. For the Arsenal game, I think we need to do what we did at Villa and have Gusto at right back and Reece James in midfield. Because I think we need to be a bit more pragmatic in that game. I think that's what we will need to do. I think that's what Maresca will probably do. I don't think James will play in the Copenhagen games because I think he'll rest him as he's been doing. He'll play once a week. But yeah, I think that's how we try and get through this situation. And hopefully we can after that international break. Hopefully we're in a state where we're still in the race for the top 4, top 5. And then we can just grind out as many results as possible.
So, do you think Arsenal will be the hardest game left in the season?
No. I mean, yes, in the fact that I think we'll be, with the state that we're in terms of injuries, I think it will be difficult to get a result. Obviously, Liverpool is going to be one of our hardest games. Full stop, because they're a very good team. They're by far the best team in the league at the moment. I'm not discounting that. And they're obviously, I feel like the Newcastle game, when we play them, that will be a difficult game. I think playing someone like Ipswich, I think Ipswich will be a tough game because we're going to play them when it's that time when you don't want to play the relegation threat teams. And
out of the relegation,
I'm actually going to have a look at our fixtures because I haven't actually looked at them in a while.
Out of the 3 relegation teams we've faced, Ipswich. Oh, no, sorry. Out of the 3 relegation teams, Ipswich have seemed to show the most fight.
Are you including? Are you saying the ones that are currently in the bottom 3?
As in the ones that got promoted.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're the best team there. That's simple as that. I mean, Leicester won the league last year, but I think they've lost players like Dewsbury Hall. They've lost the manager and Maresca, so I just don't. I think they're a shadow of what they were in the Championship. Really, I mean, they've got good players. Don't get me wrong. I think they've got people like El Canus, who's a good player, and that big up Carlito, Liam Delap. Don't stop talking about Liam Delap. Come on. I don't know about this. It's a wait and see for me, Carlito. But we'll talk about that later. But yeah, I think Ipswich. I mean, this is a bit of a sore subject with half my family supporting Ipswich. So thanks for repeating that game, Nippin, and putting that game back in my mind. But yeah, I think they're just the best team, if I'm honest.
I just want to say, people who are downplaying our win against Southampton.
I think with Ipswich, they're just they're a bit like Luton were last year. It was too early for them to go up, and I think they've tried their best to stay up. I don't think they will, but I think the way they've bought, unlike Luton, I think they've actually bought very well. That I think they won't lose too many players when they go down, but they'll come straight back up. And with a second go at the Premier League, I think they're more suited to actually make it sort of solid next season. I mean, they still might stay up because Wolves are a dreadful team.
In free fall.
Do you know what? It's unfortunate that we don't actually have to play Wolves. Because I'd like to play Wolves, they're crap. But I mean, I'm looking at our games. We've got some difficult games. I mean, obviously we've got Tottenham international break, which should be a win. Then we've got Brentford away. Which Brentford at home was fine because they're not very good away. But Brentford's home form is a bit mad. I'm a bit worried about that game. And then we've got Ipswich. Then we've got Ipswich at home on the 12th, which was a must-win for me.
So wait, is it at Portman Road or the Bridge?
It's at the Bridge. Then we've got Fulham away, which is fine. I think should be fine. Then we've got Everton, which I'm hoping Everton are on the beach at that point, so we should be all right. And then, honestly, Nippin, May, the last 4 games is a bit ridiculous for us. Do you know what our last 4 games is? Do you want me to tell you? So we've got Liverpool at home, followed by Newcastle away, followed by Manchester United at home, which is a bit easy. And then do you know what the final game of the season is?
Go on.
Forest away.
So Man United is our final home game, is it?
Yeah, honestly, not the Forest. Because I think it'll be that could potentially be the game of whoever wins gets Champions League. Like that could be it. I think it's going to go down to the wire. And honestly, I'm worried because I feel like we're not made to beat a team like Forest because Forest are just that good defensive team. They can just shut up shop and get a draw if they want to. And I feel like we just struggle to break down a team like Forest, and that game, last game of the season, when it really matters, is going to worry me. After going through that form of Newcastle, I mean, obviously, I'm hoping Liverpool potentially won the league by then, and they can just chill. So I'm hoping Arsenal just really fall away and Liverpool win it by then. But Newcastle is going to be again. That's a diff. It's at St James's Park as well. That is that your final away games is Newcastle away and Forest away. That is a bit. That's a bit scary. But yeah, I mean that's the thing. Yeah, we've got a tough time.
Travel north for both games. Have you noticed?
I mean, yeah, Nottingham Forest is not that. It's more Midlandsy, but yeah. There you go.
North Midlands.
Well, yes, but it's not north. It's not proper north. Nipping, come on.
It's okay. Put it this way: it's closer to Yorkshire than it is to
Yeah, but
Buckinghamshire.
Nipping, Northerners are probably shouting at you right now, saying Forest ain't the bloody North. Us
So
Southerners think.
you're saying that you're saying Yorkshire isn't the north.
It is, but Nottingham Forest is not the North. It's in the Midlands. But anyway, we're arguing over geographical semantics, which I know Carlito is not going to want to listen to. Probably Melina's not going to want to listen to. So let's get on to a different subject. Maybe we can talk about my tweet about the summer transfer window that Carlito absolutely loved. So much so that he accused me of copying his tweet. Which, ironically, I didn't copy his format. I copied another person's format, but not Carlito's. But yeah, there you go. But Nippy, what do you think? What do you think the summer transfer window is going to be like?
I think we try and go back in for Victor Osimhen.
Oh, Nippy him.
Do you think we will try?
No, we won't. Absolutely not.
Who will we try and go for then? Gyökeres?
Someone that doesn't want 300, 400k a week.
Do you not think that was more of his agent pushing it?
No, I do. I mean, he had such a big wage at Napoli. I think he's always been someone that wants a big wage. Obviously,
But
whether he's learned that being in Turkey for a season and gone, oh wait, I actually know what people can't pay me this amount of money. Whether he's learned that or not is another question. But I don't think he'll be particularly. I don't think Chelsea are particularly interested. I think Chelsea have three options. One of them is Liam Delap, which obviously Carlito has kindly suggested. I think another will be Benjamin Sesko from Leipzig, and I think the final one would be Victor Gyökeres. But this is me being a bit as Carlito would be cynical, being a cynical Brit. I'm looking at that and thinking, is he only in the shortlist to make fans happy? And then we'll go, we tried to get Gyökeres, but we've gone for Sesko or Delap instead.
But do you know?
I mean, for me,
I don't want to be scarred by the past because when we bought another striker from the Bundesliga, what happened? He currently plays.
I don't want Nippin. I don't want
on
Sesko.
loan at Tottenham.
Yeah, Nippin. I mean, I don't want Sesko at all. I don't think Sesko is that great a striker. I think a lot of people overrate him. For me, out of them three, I would want Victor Gyökeres as first choice, and then if we can't get him, then I guess Liam Delap out of them two is the better option. As I put on my tweet, I put Gyökeres as my buy for striker, and then Delap as a reluctant backup. But if I was the club, I would try as hard as I can to get Gyökeres on whatever type of deal you think you need to get him on.
Do you not think he would demand a big wage though, like Osimhen did?
I think he'll demand a big wage. Whether it's as high as what Osimhen said is another question. I think people need to realise how crazy Osimhen's demands were. I think it was just never going to work. I don't think Victor Gyökeres will demand as much. I think Victor Gyökeres is much more willing to negotiate a structured wage where if we're winning titles and whatever, he'll be on a lot of money. But if we're not and he's on a more, I think he'll take a basic wage, but I think the caveat will be, I think Chelsea will have to fund a bigger way, like a quite mega bonuses on top to make the wage higher if we are successful, which I think we're more likely to be able to negotiate that with Victor. Delap, I think Delap is the easy one to sign. I don't think Ipswich, once they're in the Championship, I don't think Ipswich will demand a lot, ridiculous amount for him. I think he will definitely fit the wage bracket as well. I think Sesko is maybe a bit harder than Delap, but I think again will fit. Victor, I think it's a thing of I just want to see you try it. I want to see you go for it. If you can't get him and you get Delap, then fine, it is what it is. But that is the guy I want. Kola Moana, Varna. Oh God!
Is he trying to wind you up?
Honestly, Kola. He's going to say Vlahovic next. Oh, God's sake!
You don't rate Vlahovic?
No, I don't. So what? So what? You know, Bowley made that comment about you can't strikers are hard to come by, like top quality strikers. And someone put a picture up of all these top quality strikers. I was like, there's about 3 or 4 of them that are quality, and the rest are just like potentially good. But like, for example, Victor Boniface, he's a good striker, but he's a good striker in the Bundesliga. Same with Sesko. Doesn't mean they'll come to the Premier League and smash it. I think you had Grassi as well. Like, these strikers might be good in them leagues, but are they going to come over? I mean, Gokares.
Do you think Luca Toni? Do you remember Luca Toni?
Luca Toni? You mean Luka Jovic?
No, he's retired now. Like he was from the.
Yeah, I know you mean. Sorry, yeah. I know, yeah.
Do you think he would have done a job in the Premier League?
I don't know, honestly.
What about Miroslav Klose?
Oh, Klose could do it in any league. Oh, he would have been. He was a quality striker.
Do you think if we had signed him in the same transfer window as we signed what's his name?
Drogba,
yes. As a Drogba or Anelka, do you think we would have one the same or more?
I don't know. I mean, Drogba was a great striker, so and Anelka was pretty good for us as well. So I'm not.
You could have easily played a 4-2-2, like with Klose and Anelka, Klose and Drogba up front.
I mean that would have been Closer and Drogba. I would have been very interested in the link up between them two strikers. That would have been very interesting.
They both had good link up play.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been very interesting to see. I mean, I'd like to see that, but unfortunately, that's times have gone by of seeing 4-4-2s. But yeah, I mean, Varna, Gokares turns 27 this summer. I mean, yeah, but he's being linked. So for me, we're interested in him. So
what about that? What about that Villarreal striker, Moreno?
Gerard Moreno.
Yeah.
Oh God, this is again like people just look at people who like do well in certain leagues and go, they're definitely going to like fit into the Premier League. Like no, some players just fit in certain leagues, and you've got to actually work it out and look at that and take that into respect. I look at strikers.
Chelsea signed Gerard Moreno.
Yes.
How many goals do you think he scores max? Because he's done 20 plus goals in Spain.
I'd say max 10, maybe 15. Maybe at best he does Tammy Abraham and Nicholas Jackson. He doesn't dramatically change what we do.
Do you think our club are? Do you think our fans are obsessed with exotic names, and big price tags?
Somewhat, yeah. But I don't think they're obsessed with exotic names. I think we're obsessed with. I think some fans are just want shiny new toys every 5 minutes, and
I wouldn't call
Football is
Gerard Moreno a shiny new toy. He
no,
turns 33 in April.
but they just want a new face every summer. They want to change loads of players in the team, and sometimes you just need to look and you need to develop players. Not every player comes to you as the finished article. Of course, I think at the moment we're going after too many players that are not the finished article, and I think we need to go after a few more. And I think my approach in this window, I'd like to go for a few more Victor Gyökeres of the world, or players like, if it's centre back, potentially Mark Gay, who is a bit more experienced. I'm not saying he's the finished product, but he's a bit closer to that.
That's going to rile up a lot of Cobham, a lot of the anti-Cobham people.
I mean, he's not my first choice either at centre back. So I said in mine, first my buy in terms of buying at centre back, I said either Murillo from Forest, which I know he's just signed a new contract, but that doesn't mean everything. It just means we probably have to pay a bit more from him than we did before. Milenkovic,
how much do you think Forest will
Forest,
ask if say, you know what, we want Murillo?
Between 60 and 75, to be honest. If they get Champions League, if they fall out of Champions League, it might be cheaper, but if they're in the top 5, they're not going to accept anything lower than 70. Especially the fact that Mark Gay is going to be in around that price tag. I think they're going to try and match that. Jared Branthwaite was around that price tag. So I think they're going to try and match that.
75 million for a Brexit centre half.
Yeah. I mean, this is why I think we'll probably go for Mark Gay in the end, because I think we'll try to go for that Bournemouth centre back, but obviously with a release clause and the fact that Liverpool's interested, I feel like he'll go to Liverpool instead, potentially. Especially
Murillo?
No, the Bournemouth centre back,
Dean Housen.
Yeah, that guy. Because he's got, I think, a 45 or 50 million price tag. But my point is, with Mark Gay, because the reason his price tag is so high is because he's got that 20% sell-on clause, which naturally with us, we can just say to Crystal Palace, well, we'll make the sell-on clause null and void, but we'll take him for 50, 45. So I see us potentially doing that type of deal. Or if he does get sold, yeah, Gay is left-sided. I'd like a left-sided centre-back, please. Because I think, Fofana and Tosin is solid enough for the right-hand side. As long as Fofana can stay fit, of course. Why did you think I know? Didn't you notice Murillo is also a left-sided centre-back? Fofana.
Oh, is Varna anti-Cobham?
No, I think Varna just wants. I think Varna's not clocked on that the centre back I want to replace in the starting lineup is Levi Colwill.
Sorry,
and that's not an anti-Cobham thing. That's just me saying that I don't think he's good enough to start for Chelsea Football Club at the moment.
I don't know why he was given 2 important jersey numbers, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
The moment you give any defender the number 26.
I mean, I don't pay too much attention to jersey numbers, to be honest. But yeah.
But you know what I mean. Like it's going to put a lot of pressure on them. Like number 6, Thiago Silva. Number 26, John Terry.
Yeah. But I'm not too bothered about it, to be honest.
So, now what were your thoughts on some of our fans still complaining after beating Southampton 4-0? This is something I wanted to talk about too.
I mean, I'm not bothered because at the end of the day, beating Southampton 4-0, I'd probably agree in the sense that if you're against the club before, beating Southampton, who are really a really terrible team, shouldn't change your opinion. So I actually don't disagree with. I don't have a problem. I mean,
but as in like not celebrating a win, like just be happy you won.
I think you should always celebrate a Chelsea win. Like, what is wrong with you if you don't celebrate a Chelsea win? But if you're unhappy overall with the club, I would understand logically that's not going to change just because you beat bottom of the league, who everyone's beaten. But I think you should always celebrate a result, no matter who it is.
Do you think Southampton will go winless all season?
I mean, they have already won.
Wait, what? You see that?
They beat Everton, didn't they?
Did they? Oh.
Let me have a look, see how many wins they've got. But I'm pretty sure they've got at least one already. Let's have a look.
Has there ever? I wonder whether there's ever been a winless campaign.
They've won 2 matches. Yeah, they beat Ipswich and Everton.
I wonder whether there's ever been a winless campaign.
There hasn't in the top flight, as far as I'm aware.
And I trust you because I know you have a lot of connections.
What do you mean connections?
You're a referee, aren't you?
Oh, I thought you meant like connections in like. I was going to say, I was like, are you accusing me of being a brown envelope nipping? Are you accusing me of being on the payroll?
No.
Connection. You can't say the word connections around people because people like Varner are going to think I'm on the payroll. I'm going to shout brown envelopes at me.
You're not, though. I know you're not.
No, I know. I'm just playing with your nipping.
By connections, I meant you're a referee. Oh, I should.
Hang on. Can you put former into that? Because I'm not a ref. I'm technically still qualified, but I'm not an active referee right now.
Oh, I'm sorry I said that now because I'm not sure if you wanted me to say that either.
That's fine. No, it's not. It's not a big deal.
Oh God.
I think I've said it, but I've said it before that I'll be a referee. It's fine.
On streams.
Yeah, I told the story. I told the story about how I was when I was 17, I was refereeing academy level matches, predominantly West Ham, and I booked Declan Rice because he called me a CUNT. So I found that quite funny.
You didn't want to. I'm surprised you said who you booked because for a long time you were keeping it to yourself.
Oh, I think I splurred it on a channel, and yeah, secret's out now.
I knew that wasn't going to stay quiet forever, Matt. I'm not going to lie to you.
Well, a certain West Ham player. It's like, who else do you think I'm going to be?
Mark Noble. I booked a certain.
How old, Nippin? How old do you think I am?
No, you can book.
Nippin in the under. He was in under 16s at the time.
Okay, I'm sorry.
This is where I say logically. If I say a West Ham player, the only real current West Ham player that was in around that age group was Declan Rice.
Okay, then. So why didn't you just say Declan Rice?
Well,
because it was obvious.
I said at the time that if you think, I said when I first said it, I said if you think about it for about 5-10 minutes, you'll figure it out who it is. But I don't want to name stuff because I don't want to get in trouble. But that's fine.
Did you get into trouble, Matt?
Well, I've not had any cease or desist letters from Declan Rice or the FA yet, so no. I'll be fine. I mean, I'm not saying anything that's not factual, but there you go. That's fine.
Okay.
But let's just move on to another conversation.
Yeah. Let's. So, do you think I was right in making that tweet when I said Victor Osimhen chose greed over his career?
No, I don't think you're wrong with that statement, because I think he should not be playing in the Turkish league whatsoever. The fact that he's detrimented himself that much, that he's playing in the Turkish league for a season, yeah, he's doing all right out there, but it's just a waste. It's just a waste of a year for me. I just think it's disappointing, personally. I wouldn't even. I mean, I'd be disappointed if he went and played for another European team, of course, but it's just strange. It's just.
Do you think his career in Europe? Do you think his career as a footballer in Europe is finished?
No, because I think he'll be going to the Premier League this summer.
Where do you think he ends up?
I'll give you a guess. I'll give you two guesses.
Is this one of them? Is this it?
No. That's your first guess gone.
God. Man United?
Yes.
It's
obvious.
obvious.
I think while Man United are cost cutting at the moment in terms of all their backroom staff and whatever, I do still see them as the type of club that will pay Osimhen's wages because they'll want to get a big number 9. So for me, this is how
do you think he'll flop there? Do you think he'll flop, or do you think he'll do?
I think it's going to be very hard for him to succeed at United because it's just a terrible run club at the moment. And if I was a player, I wouldn't be going anywhere near United right now. So this is how I think the summer's going to go for strikers. I think Sesko will go to Arsenal. I think Osimhen will go to Manchester United. I hope that Victor Gyökeres comes to Chelsea.
Forget what you hope. What do you think? You think Sesko goes to Arsenal? You think Osimhen goes to United?
I think that Liam Delap goes to Chelsea.
And you don't think we get Gyökeres?
Do you know what? I'm going to go with the idea of I think Gyökeres either goes PSG or he goes Barcelona if he leaves Sporting.
But PSG already have Gonçalo Ramos.
Yeah, but I don't think they're particularly happy with him. I think if they can find a place for him, I think they would be happy to. I think they'll be happy to sell and buy Victor Gyökeres. Alternatively, Lewandowski's not getting any younger, and they are keen to sell Victor Roque because that's not worked. So I think there's a position up front for Barcelona, and I know Barcelona will pull whatever economic lever that they can to cheat their way to get to Victor Gyökeres.
What if we outbid them? Do you think we could try and attempt to outbid them?
Did you realise what happened with Koundé and Rafinha? Do you really want that again?
Well, they play dirty, don't they, Barca?
Exactly. So I think they'll pull whatever. I said they'll pull whatever economical lever they can to get the sign.
Okay, so say if we offer 100 million, do you think they'll try and say if we give we're giving you 100 million for?
Nip in, come on, speak sense.
Gyökeres.
Speak sense. Huh? That's not going to happen.
How much do you think we'll offer for Gyökeres?
At most, slightly above the release clause. At most. Because I think they're looking at, I think the ownership and the scouts and the sporting directors look at Liam Delap as a very good option. And he'll cost you at most 50 million.
But will he give us
I think they'll be willing to pay a little bit more for Gyökeres because I think he's potentially he's more of a finished player than Delap potentially is. But I think that they'll go and say, we'll pay you 80 million, and obviously they'll structure it outside of it won't be a release clause, it'll be their own structure, so then they can pay it over time. Because obviously the release clause on the books will be that one fee. So I think that's what they'll do. And if Sporting turn around and say no, then I don't think there'll be much more. They might put in a slightly bigger bid, like 85, but I don't see him going above that. Because I think they'll look at Liam Delap as a better value for money.
Do you potentially see Sporting pricing Gyökeres out of a move?
No.
Like put such a huge price tag on him and then all the clubs say, you know what, we're not paying that much.
No. Because I look at the fact that he's got a release clause. So theoretically, any club can just go 75 million and we'll take him off your hands. So I think they are limited in terms of how much they can actually
ask
above. Because if someone offers 80, I know they're getting it over time, but they're still going to get 80 million. So I think that, and there was a rumor that come out a week or two ago that Sporting would potentially accept anything around 58 million, which I turned around and put that in the Blueco Project group chat and said, go get him, because I just go up the Sporting's door now and just put that bid on. Because 58, if he's there for 58 million, screw Liam Delap. Sorry, but screw Liam Delap. That's so worth it. I do think that.
Why does Varner always think we'll get the worst deal?
Chelsea gets broached. Oh, for God's sake, Varn. I do love sometimes Varner's opinions. Varner, you do bring a smile to my face. I mean, I do agree with the Sesko to Arsenal. Gyökeres to United, I don't know. I mean, I can see it happening, but I just don't see Man United making a right decision. So I feel like it won't happen. That's the only reason.
Barcelona, though, are such a scumbag club.
There's no other logic of Gyökeres not going to United other than the fact that I just think that they can't make right decisions.
Well, Amorim might have that pull.
I mean, that is the only thing, but I don't know. I just, I'm sorry. I just don't think.
Do you not think? If what's his name? Wait, is Asensio on loan at Villa, or did he move permanently?
I think he's on loan. I don't know if there's a permanent option in there or whatever. I'm not 100% sure on that.
Do you not think we should? Do you think we should go in for him?
Asensio, why?
Well, Mudryk banned.
But I don't think Asensio is the answer.
I mean, he's got caliber. He's got experience.
Yeah, but this is the thing. I don't want experience for the sake of experience. I want good experienced players.
You don't think he's good?
No, I don't. I've never really rated him. I mean, he's also just
scored in a Champions League final.
Yes, but he is also just He is also just Real Madrid scraps. Like, no offense, I don't want Real Madrid scraps.
Mateo Kovacic was a Real Madrid scrap.
Yeah, and I don't think he was particularly that successful for us.
He was okay.
I mean, yeah, exactly. He was okay.
I mean, he was part of a midfield that won us the Champions League.
Yeah, but I don't think I was down to Kovacic, was it? I mean, come on, Nippin.
He was being held.
Nippin,
So you're saying you're calling him a passenger? Are you calling him a passenger?
Yes. What he? I mean, not being funny. He wasn't the one nominated for the Ballon d'Or. It was the other two midfielders playing next to him that were. So let's not be facetious in this argument in this section. It was down to Mr.
So you're
Man
saying...
the match, Mr. Man the match in the round of 16 quarterfinal, semi-final, Kante and Jorginho.
And so wait, who was carrying his hand for the national team then, apart from Modric?
Apart from one of the best central midfielders in the world.
I mean, like it's a 3-man midfield, isn't it, Matt? Modric and they played Brozovic. Would you take him actually? Would you take Brozovic?
Hold on, who's the other midfielder? There's another midfielder that's really good in Croatia. Yeah,
I think it's Mateus Balde.
No, let me get up this 2018 squad for Croatia.
I think it's Milan Balde. There's Rakitic, Brozovic, Modric, Kovacic, Perisic.
I mean, it probably was. Let me have a look. Oh, I'm getting it up.
Milan Balde.
Hold on. Let me have a look. If there's any Croatian fans in the chat, you can answer this. But hold on. Midfielders. Balde, Rakitic.
I think it was Balde.
Maybe it was. You got Mario Pasalic. Is also quite good for the.
Was he?
Rakitic. Anyway, hold on. Rakitic at the time was all right. I mean, I know Rakitic is old now, but
would you take Brozovic? Would you take Brozovic right now?
No, personally, no. He's playing in the Saudi league, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't take any Saudi league player. Personally, because they've played in a level that is so low that I don't know how I find it hard it's going to be very hard for them it's going to take them a while to step back into the realms of
European football.
Just the level of European football again, because they're so used to not playing it now. And how old is Brozovic now?
32.
And anyway, why do we need Brozovic? We've got midfielders. He's 30. No, I'm not. That's a stupid question.
32. No, he's 32.
Mate, we've got Caicedo. We've got Enzo Fernandez. We've got one of the best
Romeo Lavia.
We've got Romeo Lavia. We've got one of the best young midfielders in Strasbourg, who's going to be our fourth choice midfielder in Santos. Midfield is one position that I don't think we need to touch, bar maybe getting a bit of a destroyer.
Isn't Lavia a destroyer?
Yes, but he isn't exactly. He's a destroyer with crutches at the moment.
Who would you take as a replacement for Mudryk then?
I mean, I went down the younger route with this because I think for me personally, next season I would have the left wing as obviously Jadon Sancho, and I would flirt with the idea of having Jackson off the left. So my personal option was I would like to invest a little bit of money into Jamie Bino Gittins from Borussia Dortmund, because I think he's a talented, explosive winger that I think is worth the risk.
Do you think?
I'm in that position. I'm open to other options. I'm not. It's not someone that I'm massively keen on. It's a player I like, but it's not someone I'm like, you must get him.
Do you see? Since Liam Delap is most likely the one we're going to be getting, do you see the usual suspects on Twitter? You know the two people I'm talking about. Do you see the usual suspects on Twitter saying, "Oh, we signed Dross yet again"?
In the summer,
Yes,
this summer coming or last summer?
this summer.
What if we signed the Lap?
Yeah.
Well, I think the Lap's a good player, but I do understand that he's not a risk, but he's not. I mean, there is an element of risk. Yeah, there is an element of risk about his signing. It's not the proven striker that everyone would like. It's a bit more of the. It's a bit more of the same. Personally, as Jackson is. But yeah.
Check your WhatsApp.
No, Nippin.
Okay. Yeah, so do you think Enzo, so like say if we I know this is a bit premature per se, but if we finish in the top 5, how far do you see us going in next season's Champions League?
Quarterfinals.
Max?
Wait. If we sign all the players that I want,
If we sign Gyökeres,
I mean, it does depend on who else we sign because that's not the only thing we need to change. But
we need to
I'd
sign
say
another winger, don't we?
I think if we have a very good summer window, semi-final. If we have an okay summer window, quarterfinals. Obviously,
And
it's hard because with this new Champions League format, it's a lot of good teams are going to go out at the quarterfinal stage or around the 16 stage because it's just so packed with
Man
good
City
teams
didn't
facing each other.
even make the round of 16 this year. Let that sink in.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's a wacky. It's harder to predict for me. I feel, for me, I think we'll obviously it really depends on who you get in the groups. You might get an easier group stage running of games. You might get a really difficult one. But I think my immediate idea is quarterfinals, maybe at a push semis. Which for this team at the moment, that's not the end of the world for me. Obviously, eventually, as we go through more that second year, third year, etc., we need to get more.
Are you not scared though that if we other clubs will start eyeing our players if we get that far? Because look at what happened to Ajax when they got that far.
No, because our players are on long contracts, and we will only sell them if we deem we want to sell them. Of course, if someone comes in and wants to splash a lot of good money on a player, then Chelsea might sell that said player, like we have with Eden Hazard, like we have with other players, like we did with Oscar, Mata, etc. We'll just have to replace them. Is what it is.
Or we can just price them out of a move and say, you know what, put a massive price tag saying just to scare them off.
I mean, you got to remember some of these players are literally on lifetime contracts, so that there's not much in there. There is a lot less leverage they've got on the club in that respect, unless they really called up a fuss.
Do you see any of our players potentially going on strike? If a big club, sorry, we are a big club. If, like, say your Real Madrid of the world. Sorry, say if your Real Madrids of the world come in for them.
I, 'cause I mean,
Like your Real Madrids, your
I
Man
mean,
Cities,
I
your
mean,
Bayern Munichs.
to be fair, I'm struggling. I'm struggling to put some of these players in the idea of actually be able to go to Real Madrid. But there you go. I mean, the 2 or 3 players that I think are capable of getting Real Madrid coming after them. So it's Palmer, Reece James, Caicedo, and maybe Nkuku. I think
Do
Nkuku's
you
the only one.
see Cole Palmer kicking up a stink?
Nkuku's the only one that I can imagine going on strike.
Well, I'm not going to say this in the. Just check your WhatsApp, and you'll probably get it.
Yes, yeah, that is funny, FM. But yeah, I don't see Caicedo I mean, Caicedo didn't strike it particularly much at Brighton. I don't see Cole Palmer being at the attitude of striking, and Reece James, I'd be shocked if he did.
Well, out of all of them, Reece James is actually a Chelsea fan, so I'd be quite shocked if he did that.
Yeah.
So, fair enough. So, one last thought before we wrap up. Do you see Liam Delap becoming a future 20 goal a season striker, like challenging for the Golden Boot? That's
Do
what
I see it? I mean, he could. I don't know. I mean, I can't predict the future. I think he's got a lot of good qualities about him. Obviously, people are like, oh, he's not scored a lot of goals at the moment, but he is playing for an Ipswich Town that is a good Championship team and not quite a Premier League team at the moment. So I think he's not going to have the goal output that you would expect at the moment. But I could see it happen. I could see it. I mean, there is a possibility that I can see it happen. How big that possibility is up to you. We'll have to wait and see how he goes, because he could do really well, but he could flop.
Who is this? Is this Gittens German?
Yeah, he's
Dutch?
English. He's English.
Oh, because that sounds like a Dutch surname for some reason.
I need
Gittens.
to check. I'm gonna check to see if he's born in England or just has English parents.
Because
well, his name's Jamie, so that's quite an English name.
well, Dean is an English name, but Deanhausen is Dutch.
Yeah, but there is. I've never met a Dutch person called Jamie.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I've met someone. I already know someone in Belgium that's called Dean. Do you know what's funny? Guess. Jamie Bino Gittins is a la Cobham. Like, very young. I mean, like, his main club was Reading, but he was also at Chelsea for a very small time.
Oh, so a bit like what's his name,
mate?
Michael
Jamie
Elise.
Bino's Gittins' youth career is a bit of a travel. So his first club was the mighty Caversham Trents. Then he was at Reading. Then he went to Chelsea. Then went back to Reading and was at Reading for 5 years. And then he was at City's academy for 3 years. And then he went to Dortmund's academy for 2, before now obviously being at Dortmund now. Just to confirm for you, he was born in Reading. Okay. So he's English.
Yeah.
It doesn't say in terms of parents where if he's got nationality. He's a dual citizen. He's Barbadian descent. So no Dutch at all.
Sorry, for some reason I thought he was Dutch. Big up Jordan. He's coming just as we were about to wrap up. Big up Jordan. Hope you win the league.
Well, that's not a surprise. Liverpool fans turning up late to the party. Only took them 25 years to turn up for a Premier League trophy. And that was in a year that no one cared about. I'm joking, Jordan. You're going to win the league. You're going to win the league this year for once.
Yeah, and finally they'll have a parade. I beg they beat Arsenal to it.
Oh yeah, I would much rather Liverpool win it than Arsenal any day of the week.
Imagine if they were in such a situation. They're not, unfortunately. But imagine if they were in such a situation that if Arsenal had lost to Chelsea, meaning that would have lost them the league title.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to spoil Arsenal's Premier League. Well, I mean, their title race is already spoiled. I wouldn't say.
Well, to be fair, big up Graham Potter, ex-Chelsea.
For me, there's nothing to spoil because it's already spoiled. But yeah.
But they're still mathematically in the title race, though.
Oh yeah, of course. They're technically and even if we beat them, they'll technically still be mathematically in the title race. But it doesn't mean.
I would have loved it that we would be the team that would put them mathematically out of the title race.
Yeah, I think we play them too soon to do that. Personally.
How shameless would you be to your Arsenal colleagues if that were to ever happen?
I would be extremely shameless. Like
that they kept calling us crap and little old Chelsea. Well, little old Chelsea ruined your Premier League.
Yeah. Well, we need to get back to winning ways first of all.
Exactly. So, to wrap up, before wrapping up, I'm actually gonna make a bold statement that both Chelsea and Nottingham Forest will finish in the UCL spots. Forest 5th, Chelsea 4th.
And then I assume you're saying City 3rd.
City 2nd. I think Arsenal drop down to 3rd.
Bloody hell. I mean, if you want my predictions for it, I think it's going to be Liverpool top, Arsenal 2nd, Man City 3rd.
Don't underestimate how shit Mikel Arteta can be. I'm just letting you know that.
There's something about Newcastle. So I actually think it's going to be Newcastle 4th, Chelsea 5th, and Forest 6th.
And Forest get Europa.
But I would love it if Forest are in the Champions League. It's hard because I do think they're the realistic teams. I know it's very tight at the moment, but I do think Bournemouth will drop off a little bit. I think once Aston Villa are back in that Champions League playing time, I think they'll drop off a little bit. I don't think Brighton or Fulham have got the capability to put an extended run together. So I think it's down to Newcastle, Forest, Chelsea, City.
Who do you think gets conference?
And I think obviously one of them will drop into Europa League. The rest will get Champions League.
Who do you think gets conference?
So I think I think Forest will get Europa League alongside Villa.
So wait, there's 2 in Europa now, 6th and 7th.
Well, obviously it'd be 5th and 6th that get Europa League. So if we get the 5th Champions League space, 6th and 7th get Europa, and then 8th get Conference, if I'm all right. So that if it is that, Villa and Forest get Europa, and then I think Brighton will get Conference.
Oh God!
But don't count out. Oh no! Well, don't count out Bournemouth or Fulham. I think one of them three will get conference, but I think it's gonna be a tough one to split them three.
Extremely.
So I think you're gonna have that battle for the Champions League, and then you're gonna have that battle just below. So it's gonna be difficult.
Anyway, before we wrap up, I would like to say thanks for everyone in the chat. Varna, Melina, Carlito, Chelsea fan, and Jordan. I don't know who else was in the chat. But yeah, big up to all of you. Matt, before we sign off, where can people find you?
So you can find me on the Blue Code Project podcast on Spotify and Apple. You can find me also on Went to Mo Kings Meadow, the Chelsea women's podcast. I'm occasionally on there. And you can find me, of course, on the paid section of Chelsea Perspective. So make sure you go over and subscribe. Very cheap, but very good content.
Big up, big up. And you can also find me. You can find me on my socials, Instagrams, and with 3 eyes. Sorry, and with 4 eyes and 3 U's, and Nippon Reviews Lifestyle. You can also find me on my other YouTube channel, which is the British Lifestyle Blogger. You can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, on the Nippon Sharma. And you can also find me as a cameoist, per se, on Worldwide Chels, and as an occasional caller on Football Carnage TV, ran by GrizzCon of the Big Six. So, with that being said, I shall see you all in the next podcast. Come on, you Blues.
Big up to everyone.